I've been saying for a while I was going to show y'all my greenhouse and how we built it. This is going to be a two-part video. The first one's more of the structure and the second one will be decorations, add-ons, paint, all that stuff. So here it is. The first thing we had to do is lay a footing of concrete. Everything I've read says a full concrete floor is not ideal for a greenhouse, especially when it warms up so much to over the hundreds in Texas. The footing is about a foot wide, and then the walls are 16 by 8. Here we're just cutting down some pressure treated wood to size. This is going to be the bottom of the walls that we anchor into the concrete footing. That way the whole building won't shift off. Okay, this is a time-lapse video that I slowed down a little bit. We're just anchoring those boards into that concrete footing. We did our best to make sure everything was square, but it wasn't. When we poured the concrete, we didn't even account for the slope of the hill it's going down. But we made it work. Here we're just constructing the walls. We had a lot of papers where we wrote it out and measured things with different kinds of windows and sizes of windows. It was a challenge, but hey, we did it. Many screws and nails later, we had the basic lateral structure done. We just hadn't put all the window braces in yet. And we laid them out next to the concrete footing for the goats to inspect.
Don't do it.
We stood those walls up, braced them in place, and then nailed them into that bottom 2x4 we had on the concrete. In order to get the right angle for the purlins on the roof and the pitch we wanted, blah blah blah, all those numbers, we just called Dylan. He's a math expert. Nobody knows how to do that past high school. Next, we made the purlins. We made these out of cedar, so they were a little expensive, but they were my surprise early birthday present. They're so pretty. We cut notches into the purlins so that they would fit on the top rail of the walls. Once you make that notch, it slides into place on the 2x4s on the top of the wall, and it drops it a little bit. We didn't take that into account, so it didn't fit its span of the two walls, if that makes sense. Oh my gosh, this took forever because we had to measure, screw one side in, get down off the ladder, go over, hand the drill to the other person, screw that side in, and then repeat the process. I don't know how many times. I can't remember how many purlins we have. And this is why I wanted a cedar roof. It's so pretty. You'll see I painted a little bit of the inside with white. I was just trying to protect the wood that wasn't pressure treated. We also wanted to get it dried in a little bit, so we put the roof panels on. To make a smooth edge on the cuts, we used a Dremel drill. And then later on switched to tin snips. I think scissors would work too, but they worked just fine.
Definitely a lot easier.
Our next most costly mistake was renting this scissor lift, or whatever it's called. It has a boom on it so you can go up and out like we needed to for this roof. We couldn't really think of another way. The way it ended up happening was, let's say, creative. I kept saying purlins before. This is an actual purlin. We added 3 of them up the length of the trusses that we installed. Actually, the middle purlin we added later after the roof was already on. We just slipped it underneath the panels. Like I said, this machine was a waste of money. We also didn't know how to work it correctly, and Derek's a little scary of heights, so here's a little bit of me doing the roof work hanging off a ladder. Next, we started placing the windows. We used the studs to make horizontal braces for each of the windows, the top and bottom. So we made a square that would fit the window. I don't think I have video of that. For some reason I was videoing from this side while we were working on the back. Oh, now I'm walking around. Alright, there it is. I used black matte hinges because I thought it would be cute with the exterior that we were going to do. Some of these don't have the bottom brace on them yet, so you can kind of see how we started, and then we added 2x4s around the windows after they were hung. That way they had their own casing. All these windows were antique. I bought from antique stores, mainly in Gladewater, Texas is a good place for antiquing. But anyway, we had to remove a lot of nails, and we had to get some of them a little bit straighter and a little bit thinner to fit in the walls like we wanted. Next, we had to frame out the exhaust fan I bought for the greenhouse. It's a solar powered exhaust fan so that we don't have to constantly run electricity. Next, we put all the plywood around the places that didn't have windows. It took a lot of time, cutting, and screws. We also put the doors on, which was difficult because the whole thing was not square, but hey, we made it happen. And to attempt to keep that drier, we put house wrap around the whole thing, stapled that on, and cut it away from the windows. It's actually one of the easier things we did. I wasn't gonna put a vent on the opposite side of the exhaust fan, but I decided to go ahead and do it. It won't hurt. I was thinking of just using the windows being open instead. Over that house wrap, we put cedar fence planks. I think they're 5 1/4 inch thick, and then they took another one and ripped it in half. To make a board and batten design. I had to put a fence around it so the cows wouldn't break windows. I reused a lot of posts, just like that one and this one. I moved my gate from where it was to the entrance of the main garden right here to right there in front of the greenhouse. And this is how it was looking at that time, so we got the main structure of it finished. Now's a good time to give a big thumbs up to this video, comment if you saw something you liked, and make sure you're subscribed because there will be a part 2 to this video where I do even more exciting stuff. So if you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I upload most Sundays and you can keep watching us grow our farm. Have a good one.